This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so don't worry, let's do one thing because I would like to finish the queries because we are on the queries topic and we will finish the queries and then we will take break tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Okay, so that you can practice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just a second, yeah. Actually, it's loading. So in the meantime, we will see. Already we have seen what is query object model. Okay, if you do remember, we have seen what is query object model and what are the classes inside it. Okay, and we have tried that using AOT queries. Okay, we have tried that using AOT queries. Whereas today we will see each and every class that you are seeing here in detail. Okay, so we will see each and every class that you find here in detail. Okay, let's move forward. Just a second, let it load. For the first time, I'm running this so that it would be faster. We can wait for a minute. And in the meantime, if you have any queries, please let me know. And Prachi, is this your name? Because
Yes.
I can see. Yeah. Okay. So I hope your doubts are cleared. Because what happened is when you have not created the record index now, and you are trying to not fetch the record ID information from the table. You are trying to fetch the information of some city, zip code, something like that, country, state. I think so. Okay. So what will happen is, as it is not able to fetch the rec ID, it is taking some default value, and then it is showing you, which is why you are seeing that 1091190 or something. Okay. But as per the best practice, it's good to create the index with rec ID. Okay. Please remember this. Now let me stop this. And now I want to create one more class here. Click on the add button, new item, and let me go to code, runnable class. Let me call it as AMA XPP queries. So up to now we have seen how to work with the AOT queries and we know what is a query object model and how to use it. Now today we will see how to work with the XPP queries. Okay, just a second, it's loading. Okay, now see here, up to now whatever we have done is I use it something called query, and then I use it queue address or something like this, and then equal to new query of. I wrote it. Okay. Now what I will do is I will not initialize the query here. I will not initialize the query here. Instead of that, I will use something called query build data source. Okay, and then I will call it as QBDS address. Okay, because this is my query build data source. Now, the next step, I will take the QBDS address equal to, I have query address dot, we will have something called add data source. We will have something called add data source. And inside this, it is expecting the table ID. So you can use table name and then we can write AMA address. We can use AMA address. Now that we have the address, okay. Now that we have the address table and we have the data source, okay. Now whatever we can do is, if you want to run this query and if you want to get the data, you can do that. If you want to define the range, you can do that. Okay, what is the class? Now if I go here, you can see query build data source. And if you want to define the field list, you need to use query build field list. Okay, now let me try that. Because if you see here, at the top I have the query run. I haven't used the query run yet because query run is used to execute the query. At the next level, I have the query. I have created a query. And at the next level, I have the query build data source. I can have n number of data sources here. So I have used a single data source. I have created a query. I have used the data source. For each data source, I can add a field list. I can add a range. I can add a link. I can add a data source. Let's see how to do that. Okay. Now what I will do is, I will create query build range, and I will call this as QBR address. QBR means query build range, and I'm using that for defining the range. Okay, now you can use this qbr address equal to qbds address dot add range. We can use this add range here. This is how we are going to add the range. And then inside this range, it is expecting the field ID. You can use field num, and in the bracket, you need to provide the table ID. The table ID is AMA address, and then I'm using country as the field here. I am adding the range based on the country. Now, if you want to add the range, that means where clause, you can say qbr address dot value, and inside this value, in the robotic query, if you have remember now, we have added the value. If you have single value, what you can do, you can directly add it. If you have multiple values, you can use strfmt, and then you can use greater than, and you can write in one more condition. You can also do that. Okay, but here if you want to define the value of the range, you can simply say I and D. Okay, this is how we define the range. And similarly, we have the field list here. How to define the field list? Here simply we need to write query build field list, and I will call it as qbfl address. Okay, query build field list for address table. Okay, now I have the address here, the data source. Now you can use qbfl address equal to, from where you need to get the fields, from where you need to get the fields, where we will have it here, where we will have the fields will be in the data source. Is that
Data
right?
source.
In the data source. So what we need to do? What we need to do? Here you can directly say qbds address dot fields. What this will do? This will return the fields of the data source. So now I want to add only few fields. Let's say how to add it. qbfl address dot add all fields. If I say add all fields, what will happen? It will add all the fields of the given table name. I want to add the individual field. Then I need to use add field. In the bracket, I need to use field num, and then in the bracket, I need to use AMA address, comma, country. Done. I can use city. I can use state. Like this, you can add any number of fields you want. Okay. This is how we will use the query build field list. This is how we will use the query build field list. Now, let's say if you want to add one more data source along with the address, I will use qbds customers. qbds customers. And if you want to add one more data source, qbds, you can say sales table. Similarly, if you want to add one more, qbds sales line. Like this, you can add any number of data sources here. Okay. Now, how to embed these data sources? That means how to link between them. This is the biggest question again, because now if you are up to now we have used one data source, it's very good. Now I have how many data sources? Two data sources. Now what I need to do? I need to add the data source. Now, if I need to add the customer data source, what I need to do? I need to take qbds address and then add data source to it, because this is at the top level. qbds address dot, again add data source inside the bracket, table name, inside the bracket AMA customers. Done. Now I have added the data sources. After adding the data sources, I need to create a link between them. How to do that? To create a link between them, I need to use relations, because if you want to add the fields, you can add it. Or if you want to set the relations, you have a relations and you can directly set it to true. This is one way. If you have the relation between both of them, this is one way. of adding the relations. And similarly, let's say by default it will take inner join, but you want to use some other join. Then what you need to do? You need to specify the join mode. What you need to specify? You need to specify the join mode. And if you want to specify the link between both of them. Okay, now let's say I am taking the sales table, QBDS sales table. Okay, anyways, that will be inner join. Here I will show you how to work with this. Okay, QBDS sales table equal to QBDS customers dot, you can say, add data source inside the bracket, table name inside the bracket, AMA customers. This is my table. Done. Now we have added. I don't want to use the relations. Then what I need to do is I need to take,
Sales, sales table you were taking.
sorry,
You were taking sales table, passing AMA customers.
oh right, thank you. It's AMA sales table. Okay, I am taking AMA sales table. Now you can see here in this AMA sales table, I will use QBDS sales table dot add link. Or actually, this is called query build link. Whatever we can do is we can use query build link, and then you can say QBL sales table, and you can use QBL sales table equal to QBDS sales table dot add link, and inside the bracket you need to specify both the fields, parent field. Okay, field name inside the bracket AMA customers, comma customer ID, comma field name inside the bracket AMA sales table, comma customer ID. This is how we need to write. If you want to link between two tables, this is how we will link. And similarly, sometimes you need to specify the join mode if you don't want to use the inner join. Now I will take this customers data source, and then inside this you will have something called join mode, and here you need to use the value. For that you can use join mode. This is the enumerated data type, and you can use inner join. If you want to use other joins, you can use them. If you don't use this, by default it will take inner join anyways. This is how we will create a link between the tables. This is how we will create a link between the tables. Got it? Now we are done with three tables. Now there is only one table left. And what else is left? Here you can see. One is query build dynalink. Field list we have seen, range we have seen, data source we have seen, link we have seen. Okay. So see here, this dynalink has some special feature here, because dynalink is not used in a regular fashion. Okay, there is one special purpose, I can say. The special purpose is, let's say in between the code you want to write some select statement. Okay, and then you want to get the information of, or you want to link that specific customer ID value, okay, to the data source. Okay, I will show you. For example, I have this, let's say, customers. Okay, I have this customers. Now what I will do is I will say I will use AMA customers, and then I will use customers. Okay, and then where is the customers? Here relations is true, and what I will do is select star from customers. Okay, done. Now I can take this QBDS customers, where customers dot customer ID equal to some 1001. Okay, dot add dynalink. This is what we will use for creating a dynamic link. And then you can say field ID table buffer. Can you say this? Common. There you need to specify the table buffer, and then you need to specify the dynamic field. Okay, I will say field name, and then inside the bracket AMA customers, comma, customer ID. What do you want to have this value? Okay, because currently if you see here in this range is not dynamic, this is static. Okay, I am directly assigning IND. Okay, but whereas if you want to fetch the information from database dynamically, okay, you want to get the information from database dynamically, and then you want to create a range. Okay, here you can see. Okay, here you can see this is how we do. Come a common table buffer. I will use customers here. I will use customers, and then I need to specify the field ID dynamic field. I can use field num, and then in the bracket AMA customers, comma, customer ID. Now if you see here, this is a dynamic link. Okay, oh, I got one question. What are links? Okay, see here, you have two tables. Between two tables, what you want to do? If you want to fetch data between two tables, what do you need to do? What do you need to do? You need to add relations. Is that right? You need to use relations between both of them. Then only you can fetch the data. So that is called a link. Okay. Without link, you cannot join two tables. Now you can take this QBDL customers, and then you can use, this is your dynamic. Okay. Now actually we will define this, but coming to this one, QBDL dynalink or query build link, this will be not used, I can say, because you will have very few methods in this. Okay, for example, you can see cursor. Cursor means it will just fetch the current record, the data of the current record. Dynamic field to fetch the dynamic field ID. Okay, so like this you will have very few properties or very few methods, I can say. Okay, which is why this will be used in very rare scenarios. Okay, most of the times we will work out only with ranges. Dynamic links we will not use, whereas query build link we will use it regularly. The purpose is, if you want to link the field other than the relations, then there is no other choice. There is only one choice. We need to use link. Okay, there is no other way. Got it? Got it? Now the next thing, we got QBDS customers, and we have everything except sales line. Now let me get it. Okay, where is my sales line? QBDS sales line. Now how to add the sales line? QBDS sales line dot, sorry, equal to QBDS sales table dot add data source, and in the bracket you can say table name, and in the bracket you can use QBDS say, oh sorry, AMA sales line. Done. We got it. This is your QBDS sales line. And here as well, now you know how to define the link. So I will directly use relations, and then in the bracket I will set it to true. Okay, done. Okay,
Kumar,
this
one
is
doubt
how.
here. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No
In
problem. Yeah, go
the last second line, you have mentioned QBDS sales line dot
ahead.
add data source.
No.
Whereas,
By mistake, I have done that. I have modified it. Here you can see equal to QBDS sales table dot add data source.
you're correct. And then we are passing table number MS sales line.
Hmm.
But
Yes.
it is QBDS sales table.
No. Here
Yeah.
you need to understand one thing. First
Yeah.
of all, I took the QBDS address. What I have done, I have taken the query and then I have added the data source address. And then
Correct.
I have QBDS customers. Okay. I need
Correct.
to add the data source. I need to get the link. So what I'm doing, I am adding this to QBDS address because there is a link between both the tables. And here QBDS sales table. I am using the sales table here, QBDS customer. For customers, I am adding the sales table data source. I'm going on adding the data sources.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is what I'm doing.
Okay. Good.
Got it?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay. Now the
So
relations
these tables,
are, yep.
so these tables are not at the same level.
Not at the same level means?
Like customer, we are adding to address. Sales table, we are adding to customers, and sales line to sales table.
Because we want to do a joins now. Because we want to do a multiple tables with joins, which is why I'm adding one table to another table. If you have only one table address, that will be enough.
But if we have joined, then what is the role of link?
See here, after joining, there are two ways. One way is, let's say both the tables have the relations. Now you have the customers table and then sales table. Both of them have the relations. So what you can do? You can set relations to true. Now let's say you have the customers table and you have the sales table. You don't have the relations, but there is a common field between both of them. There is a common field between both of them. Then what you can do? You can simply add the link. This is where link comes into picture. Okay, you have a common field between both of them, but there is no relation. In that point, you can't use relations. So you need to create a link between both of them. Got it?
These links are like we had in previous versions, passive, active, delayed. Are they those links?
You are speaking about link type in forms. That's different again. Okay. Don't compare link types in form with queries. That is different. That is entirely different. Okay. Because I will come to that concept as well. When we go to link types in forms, then I will tell you. Okay. Because if you compare between that one and this one, the architecture of that one is different, the architecture of this one is different. Because there as well you will have the inner join, exist join, outer join. You can use them. And here as well, if you use the inner again the joins, it will work in the same fashion. But comparatively both are different. Okay, because there you will specify the link type, but you would not be able to add the field. It will take it automatically. Whereas here the link is different. You have table A and table B. Okay, let's say you have two tables. Let's say you have two tables. One is called table A and the other one is called table B. Okay. Now you have added these two tables. Okay, as you know, AX 2012, I'm discussing this. You have added these two tables to the form. Okay, these two tables to the form. Between these two tables, there are no relations. What will happen if you specify the link type? Did you ever try this? Try this out. And similarly, now I am coming to the XPP queries. I have the same two tables. Let's say these two tables have common field. Okay, these two tables have common field, but there are no relations between them. Okay, but there are no relations between them. I want to join both of them by using the common field. To do that, we will use query build link. Okay, if you see here, I have done the same thing. I am using the add link here. I am using the customer ID and customer ID. Okay. Currently, you might say, oh, these two tables have the relations, so you can directly use relations of true. That is possible. But in that relation, I have two more conditions. But I don't want the two conditions to be executed. I want to get the relation only on the basis of this customer ID between both of them. Because I have used the sales purchase type equal to cash. I'm not going to get the whole data. I don't want that, which is why I'm using the link here. Got it? All the times relations will not meet the criteria, and in few scenarios there is no possibility of having the relations as well. So at that time, what you will do? We need to simply use links to link between both the tables. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now that we have added the sales line, everything is good now. Now there are few more things. Okay. Order by, group by. You can also do that using XPP queries here. Okay. If you want to do that, you can also do that using XPP queries. If you want to use the group by field, we have something called query group by field. What is that? query group by field, and I will call it as QBG sales line. Okay, I'm using QBG sales line. And similarly, you have query having filter, and I will call this as QHL sales line. Okay, query having filter sales line. Now let's see. Now let's see what it is doing. I have everything ready with me now. Query having filter and query group by field, and you know how to apply the field list, how to get all the fields. Okay. Now how to apply the group by field. Now whatever we can do is I can take this query build group by field sales line equal to I have the query build data source sales line dot add group by and selection field. We have two things here. One is add group by and selection field. If you want to apply both of them at a time, you can do that. What is the second one? Add group by field. If you want to apply the group by field, you can use this add group by field, and then you can say field name, and in the bracket AMA sales line, comma sales ID. This is how you need to do. Done. Query build group by using the sales line. This is how you need to do. And if you want to calculate the sum or whatever you want to do, if you want to calculate the sum, you can say dot. You have a method called auto sum. If you set this to true, it will calculate the auto sum. It will calculate the auto sum. Okay. And actually, you can see here, I have added the group by field, but I did not define any aggregate function here. How to do that? How to do that? To do that, you can take this QBDS sales line, and then you need to use add selection field. I told you, add group by and selection field. That is one way. The second way is you can add the selection field, and then you can add the group by field. Here you need to specify field num in the bracket AMA sales line, comma line amount, and then you can say comma selection field type. Selection field is the enum there, as you can see, colon colon. You can take sum. This is how we will use aggregate functions along with XPP queries. This is how we will use aggregated functions along with XPP queries. Similarly, if you want to apply the having filter, we have the having filter in the sales line, QHL or QHF. You can do whatever you want. Okay, equal to. Now what you can do? Equal to having filter will not be there for data source. Having filter will be there for query. Where is my query? This one. Dot add having filter. Yeah, good. Add having filter. And this having filter inside the bracket specify the data source. What is the data source name here? You need to use QBDS sales line. This is my data source. What is the field name? You can use field str to specify the field string, AMA sales line, comma line amount. This is the field name, and then you need to specify the aggregate function. Aggregate function colon colon. You can take sum. This is how we will define the aggregate one. You can take this, paste it over here. Dot. You need to use something called value, and in the bracket you can say greater than 3000. Okay. Okay. On runtime I wrote it, so I don't know whether this is right or wrong. So let's check the query. Okay. Let me set this as the startup object. I want to run up to here, and then I will move further. Okay, because I want to check the query. Now let me run. At each step, we will see the select statement, how it is formed. That will be very interesting.
Hi, Kumar.
Go ahead.
So dynamic link is the link between a query and a data source.
Between the select statement and then your data source. That's right.
Select statement. It can have any multiple tables also.
Yeah.
Then we can create the link between data source and then query select statement.
Yep. Okay, it has hit the breakpoint. Now, first thing, everything is null. Let me press F10. We will see QBDS address now. Good, we got the null reference exception. Can anyone tell me why we got this null reference exception? It is asking me to initialize this query object. And this is one of the biggest problem I found in Dynamics 365. I don't know why they wrote code like this. Sometimes it will automatically take itself and sometimes not. Let me run. It has hit the breakpoint now. Let me press F10. Good. Now you can see it's very simple. QBDS address equal to select star from AMA address. Good. Now I am trying to get the field list. Okay, I am adding the first field. Country from, it has changed. City from, it has changed. State from, it has changed. Good. Next I am adding the range. Where? I am adding the where clause. Where country equal to India. I am trying to add the second data source. Now here you can see this will be this one, and let me copy the value of it. Copy value, and let me paste it over here. It says AMA customers, but you can see there is no where clause. There is no condition. There is no relation between both of them. Now I have set relations to true. Let me press F10, and let me go back. Oh, sorry. Let me copy the query, and let me go back and check. Now you can see on rec ID equal to address. We got it from the relations. Now this is, I am trying to add the dynamic link. Good. Okay. The dynamic link also got added. Now let's see what does this dynamic link do. Copy value and then paste. Okay. Address customer ID equal to AMA customers dot customer ID. It has added this dynamic link. Okay. So in turn, what it will do is it will get converted to the value. Okay. It will give the value 1001. Okay. Next. F10. Run. Here it is adding the link now. Data source got sales table added. Let me copy this. And you can see here the value got added. Sales table. Now the next step. If you press F10, again, previously we have used relations. Now we are using link. You can see how link is working on customer ID equal to customer ID. This is how you can add the link. Now I am adding inner join. Okay. And then here sales line. I am adding sales line. Okay. Now sales line also got added. Now let's see about this selection field here. Copy value. And then if I paste it over here, can you see that selection field? Join sum of line amount. Okay. Next. Run. F10. Auto sum true. Here I am adding the, okay, we have added the group by field. Now here I am adding the having filter. Done. Now you can see the query. Sales table having sum of line amount greater than 3000. This is how we need to write the queries. Got it? This is how we need to write the queries. Now if you want to fetch the data, it's again very simple. Now whenever you are creating the query run object, please remember it should be at the end. Okay. Query run qr equal to new query run inside the bracket query address. This is what you need to do. Okay. Query address. Now I am not using prompt. If you want, you can use it. While query run dot next. Okay. Now can anyone tell me what is first data source, what is second data source? Remembering that would be difficult. So now let's say I want to get the customers, or I want to get the sales line. Sales line equal to query run dot get inside the bracket table name inside the bracket AMA sales line, bracket close, semicolon, and then info strfmt %1 comma sales line dot line amount. Okay. Dot line amount. This is done. Okay. Now actually I want to do a few things because I am using 1001 here. I want to comment this because I want to get the data of the whole set. So let me comment this. And then this is good, everything is good now. Okay. And here as well, I have specified the specific fields. I will use dot all fields, add all fields, and I will comment this out. Save. Okay. Done. Now let me run this back again. Okay. This is how we need to work with XPP queries. Okay. Now in what scenario we will use XPP queries is if you want to modify something on the form, then we will go with XPP queries. Good. I love errors because we can learn more things if we get more number of errors. But if there are syntax errors or something like that, nah. Oh, sorry. Dot fields. Run. If I add out fields, all fields, nah, I need to provide the table name. If I add fields and if I do not provide anything, it should take all the fields. Even this line as well is not necessary now because already we have added QBDS address, so this line as well is not necessary.
Here we are instantiating only two classes, query and query run. Why not other classes? Like query
That's
build data
what
source.
you need to think. If you see here, I am instantiating all the classes. Okay, instantiating in the sense not using the constructor. I am using QAddress.add data source. Okay, what it is doing? It is returning the query build data source object. I am instantiating QBDS address here. Okay, instantiating means not only by using new. If it is returning that object, na, then it will automatically get instantiated. Got it?
No.
This is how it. See here. Now what I have done? I have instantiated the query object because by default query should have something. Whereas coming to this line, if you see QBDS address, I am not instantiating anything here, but while using QAddress.add data source, what it is doing? It is returning query build data source object. Okay. Actually, I can't show you, I can't go inside that. Otherwise, you can see because what it will do is it will add the data source and then it will return as the new object. That is what will happen inside it, which is why I'm not instantiating anything here. Even if you instantiate here, the memory will be allocated. When again you are using that add data source, the existing memory will be there as is, and the pointer will get changed for this QBDS address. Okay, here automatically this will get instantiated when you are calling this add data source. Similarly, query build range you can see here. I am using the add range. It will return the object of type query build range. That is how they will get instantiated. There is no need of instantiating them explicitly. Now if I press F10, it goes inside. It will get the sales line. Good. It is throwing one more error. What is the error? Unable to cast object of type sales line to this one. What happened is I am taking AMA sales line and I am using the standard table sales line. Save. Okay. So after this, we will start with table methods here. Now we will move into table methods and then we will see table extensions and then we will see class extensions and then we will move to the forms. Okay. I am planning to cover the class extensions as well along with this because currently we are good at classes. So let's see that. I will show you how to work with the class extensions and table extensions and then we will move on to the forms. Instead of discussing everything at the end, when we are on the flow, if we discuss, that would be good. That's what I felt. because at the end, if I say extensions, most of the times people will forget the topics that we have discussed previously. So if I continue now itself, you know, you're on the practice of tables, so it would be good. Okay. So on Monday, we will start with table methods, and then we will see table extensions as well.
Or meanwhile, I will ask you a small thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
When I'm trying to use this standard address field and trying to look up on that particular field, it's showing me the rec ID also. Instead of zip code, city, and all those things, it's showing me the zip code also. So how to, sorry, rec ID, how to remove that one?
Yesterday, the same question she has shown how to do that. Okay, create rec ID index. Is it set to yes or no?
Okay.
Okay, because if you are creating the index, then it will automatically pull that index.
Okay, I will check.
Yeah.
I have a request to practice these queries. I want to have all the tables.
Huh.
So
You can create them.
I created the 4 tables: address, customers, vendors, and sales table. The remaining one I don't have in the videos.
No, you will have it
I think you have created later.
because in all the sessions we will have it. They were recorded. Or let me ping you if you want. 1 second. I can do that as well. Address, customers, vendor, sales you have created. Okay. You don't have sales line and inventory. You can create them. Yeah, tomorrow there will be no class.
And what about relations in these tables?
For inventory, I did not add any relation. Whereas for sales line, you need to use the sales ID. Okay, here I have mentioned as order ID because in sales table I took order ID, but this is sales ID. You can take the sales ID relation. Okay. Done. This is how it works. Got it? 5,500. Okay, so this is about the XPB queries. So if you have any queries, please let me know. And I want you to practice all these things because going further again, I don't think we will come back to these queries. Okay, except 1 or 2 places where the data should be updated, I will show you. Okay. Yeah. Please practice all these queries here, which is why I am showing you the complex joins. And there is one more thing called composite query. I want you to try that. Creating a query out of a query is called composite query. I want you to try that. Okay. Yeah. Now it's your time. Please let me know if you have any queries. And there will be no session for tomorrow because someone pinged me yesterday for practice. So let's take a break for tomorrow and day after tomorrow. And again, from next week, we will have sessions on Saturdays as well. Okay. Yeah. Okay. If there are no queries, I will end session for everyone.
I think I saw one more table in the Solution Explorer. Something experience AMA. Yeah, employee expense. Sorry.
This will be there because okay, because this I have created for the workflow. When we discuss workflow, then I will show you this table. Up to that time, this table will be just like that.
So we don't need for queries.
No, for queries you don't need this table.
Just inventory and sales line.
Yeah, because we will be using most of the time address, customers, sales table, sales line, and vendors. And coming to the inventory, now we will use now because I want to show you some piece of code in the table methods. Now, for that we will use inventory. Okay. Yeah. Any other queries? Thanks all for the session. Let's meet again on Monday, same time. Thank you all. Bye.